whether it's from Kennedy Carter at the very beginning, or Marina Mabrey last year, or Alyssa Thomas today, way too often she's been on the receiving end of this stuff, and she's getting called for fouls for having her arms straight up in the air and getting technicals for clapping.
Illegal contact is initiated by Caitlin Clark. She comes across the arm, into the body and hip of Thomas.
It's truly for clapping. That's what they said they gave it to me for was for clapping. So it's just ridiculous. I don't understand it at all.
Be real. Keep it 100. Caitlin Clark has been on the receiving end of this sort of stuff way too much.
A fist on her neck. No call. That is the image. That is the moment. That is the photograph that is now burned into the retina of every casual sports fan who glanced at their phone this week and saw the WNBA for exactly what it has become.
She's a straight white basketball player, and she is not being treated with any sort of respect whatsoever.
Not a growing league, not an ascending product. A place where the most important player in women's basketball gets a fist driven into her neck, a knee to the groin, and the referees on the floor do absolutely nothing.
I mean, Caitlin to the ground, and ooh, that's a...
Nothing. Not even a whistle. Not even a look. That image, Alyssa Thomas's fist on Caitlin Clark's neck, is now the defining image of Caitlin Clark's WNBA career. And the league did that. The league made that happen. Not Caitlin Clark, not Indiana. The league, the officials, the culture that has existed in that building long before Clark arrived and has been desperately trying to maintain itself now that she is here. And we need to talk about what comes next, because July 5th is coming, and when Caitlin Clark walks back onto that floor, the entire sports world will be watching. Not WNBA fans, not Fever fans, the entire sports world. And what happens in that building on that night will tell us everything we need to know about whether this league has a future or whether it just signed its own death warrant in front of a national audience. Let's be honest about what happened first, because the league wants you to forget it as fast as possible. Alyssa Thomas did not accidentally catch Clark on the neck. This was not a basketball play that got physical. A fist connected with a throat. A knee found its way into a groin. In real time, during an actual WNBA game, on the floor, in front of officials, nothing was called.
And then there was the closeouts, reckless closeouts, whatever you want to call them. And I posted earlier today, she's gonna get hurt. If this keeps up, she got hurt, back issue.
Zero. The referees saw it, processed it, and decided that what happened to Caitlin Clark did not warrant a stoppage of play. Think about that. Let it sit. A fist to the neck, no call. Now imagine that scenario with literally any other player in this league. Imagine the fist going the other direction. You already know what would have happened. You already know the suspension would have been announced before the post-game press conferences were finished. But it wasn't the other direction. It was Caitlin Clark. And so the referees watched and said nothing. The one-game suspension that came down afterward, let's call it what it was damage control. The league had to do something because the footage was too clear, the image was too damning, and the outrage was too loud to absorb quietly. This was not justice. This was optics management. A one-game suspension is the league saying, we saw it, we acknowledged it, now please move on. It is the minimum possible response to a maximum possible incident, and every single person watching understood exactly what it meant.
This is a joke. As opposed to sending a real statement, I'm talking 10 games, 20 games, a massive fine. They have handed down a one-game suspension to Alyssa Thomas.
One game. For a fist to the neck of the most important player the WNBA has ever had. And let's sit with that number a second longer. One game. In a league that has handed out discipline for far less, for technical fouls, for social media posts, for statements made at press conferences that rubbed the wrong people the wrong way. The apparatus exists. The precedent exists. The league knows how to act swiftly when it wants to. When there is motivation to protect something, they move fast. And the fact that they did not move fast here tells you everything about what they are actually motivated to protect. And it is not Caitlin Clark. If you needed any more evidence, look at the tech comparison. Caitlin Clark got a technical foul for clapping. Clapping. Meanwhile, Paige Buchers had a technical foul rescinded by the league. Rescinded, wiped away, gone, like it never happened.
The illegal contact is initiated by Caitlin Clark. She comes across the arm, into the body and hip of Thomas.
So the league will erase a tech for one player and hand one to another for clapping, and then turn around and give one game to the player who put her fist on Clark's neck. The inconsistency is not accidental. It is a pattern, and patterns tell you everything you need to know about institutional priorities. This is no longer a conversation that lives inside the WNBA bubble. The fist on the neck image escaped. It is everywhere. It is on the feeds of people who have never watched a full WNBA game in their lives. It is being discussed by sports fans who learned Caitlin Clark's name sometime in the last 12 months and are now watching to see if the league deserves their attention. These are not hardcore fans who will show up regardless. These are casual fans. The audience the WNBA needs to survive the next decade. And what they saw was a player being physically attacked without consequence. And this is where the stakes become existential. Not dramatic, not hyperbolic, existential. The WNBA has spent decades fighting for mainstream attention, fighting for television deals, for sponsorships, for a seat at the sports culture table. And then Caitlin Clark arrived and handed them the audience they had been fighting for on a silver platter. Record ratings, sold-out arenas, jerseys moving, casual fans converting, new people watching women's basketball for the first time and actually staying. This was the moment the league had been waiting for. And what did the league do with that moment? They let a fist connect with her neck on national television.
But Kathy Engelbert, what are you doing? I mean, you're not heavily promoting her to the Olympics. I mean, you should have been totally outraged for the game. You can't put her on the 30-year poster. The officiating's awful and way too physical. Way too physical.
They gave one game as the response, and now they are heading toward July 5th with every casual fan they have ever courted watching with one question in their mind. Does this league take care of its players? If the answer on July 5th looks anything like the answer on the night that fist landed, if there is one moment, one play, one non-call that even rhymes with what happened, the exit will begin. And it will not be a polite exit. It will be a mass departure of exactly the fans the WNBA cannot afford to lose. The casual viewer does not have loyalty to the league. They have loyalty to Caitlin Clark. And they are paying attention right now in a way they have never paid attention before. Every missed call going forward will be measured against this moment. Every questionable foul, every non-call, every shove that goes unaddressed, the instant replay is already loaded. People will go back to this image. They will compare, they will post, they will lose trust incrementally with every incident that does not get handled the way it should. The league has created a standard now, a disastrous one, and every single officiating decision involving Clark for the rest of this season will be evaluated through the lens of the night they watched and did nothing. That is the legacy of what happened. That is what the one-game suspension purchased. Not resolution, not restored trust. A countdown.
It makes it look terrible. The league has no self-awareness whatsoever. It's crazy.
Caitlin Clark does not need to do anything differently. She has never needed to do anything differently. She shows up, she plays her game, she takes the hits, absorbs the hostility, walks back to the locker room, and comes back again. She's been doing that since the moment she stepped into this league. Think about the mental toughness that actually requires. Think about what it takes to lace up your sneakers and walk back out onto that floor, knowing that the officials standing 20 feet away from you have already demonstrated on camera in front of millions of people that they will not protect you the way they should. She is not asking for our sympathy. She is earning our loyalty every single game. The image on your screen is a fist on her neck, and she is still here. What the league needs to decide urgently before July 5th, before that arena fills up and that broadcast goes live and the entire sports world is watching, is whether they are going to be worthy of the player they have, whether they are going to protect her, whether the word egregious means something in real time, not just in a post-game press release. Because if they get this wrong again, If the first moment of real consequence on July 5th gets swallowed by silence and a shrug, then the WNBA will have made its choice. Officially, in front of everyone, and the fans who came for Caitlin Clark will make theirs. The fist on the neck is the image. It does not go away, it does not get reframed. It sits there, permanent and damning, as the document of exactly what this league allowed to happen to the most important player it has ever had. July 5th is the verdict. And if you have been watching this unfold and nobody in your circle gets it, you are in the right place. Courtside Leaks is where we see what the cameras do not show and say what the commentators will not. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because when the next story breaks, you will want to be the first one who knew.